There are growing calls in the European Union to boost copyright protection for songs to 95 years, putting them in line with US law. Jim Bolden takes a look at the issues and the concerns.
London's Florestan Trio is practicing a piece of Mozart before its next concerts. The group gets paid to perform and gets paid a fee for its CDs, but of course it can't claim copyright and therefore royalties for Mozart's original work. But now recent court rulings have thrown music copyright law into disarray. A New York court has ruled that record label EMI has the right to any music ever released by it, even after copyright has expired. EMI sued Klaus Heyman after he released a CD with out-of-copyright EMI classical music. The ruling only applies to New York, but Heyman says listeners who are just discovering a host of obscure classical music, thanks to downloading, will suffer if copyright is broadened.
The loser will be the consumer, because the consumer will not have access to these recordings anymore because the original copyright owners don't keep them available. And what they keep available will be available more expensively.
In London, a court has extended copyright for some classical music which has been updated by a modern-day composer. The Florestan Trio's record label, Hyperion, lost that case and is now drastically cutting back on new projects to pay legal costs and to pay royalties on a work it thought was out of copyright. But many in the music industry are glad copyright is being broadened and want even more. 1950s rock and roll singers are calling for Europe to let them keep royalties beyond the 50-year limit set by law. In Europe from 2008, British singer Cliff Richard will start to lose copyright and royalties to his biggest hits.
Yeah, I can afford it. I'm one of the lucky ones, but it just seems ridiculous to me that we lose control of the songs. They can be used by anybody. Any one of you that can burn a CD of all my biggest hits, Young Ones, Living On, Bachelor Boy, Move It, all of them, and not have to pay me anything.
In the U.S., music published before 1978 is now protected for 95 years from when released. The industry says Europe should extend the 50-year limit to 95 years, too.
It's impossible to regulate copyright from country to country when everyone has a different deadline. In an age when, there are no borders anymore in commerce.
Cliff Richard has a simple request.
The minimum, please, let us at least have control of our records and the royalties from some of them for our lifetime.
If nothing changes, Elvis recordings will start to lose copyright in Europe next year, with Beatles recordings to follow starting in 2013. Jim Bolden, CNN, London.